So we all watched a movie, 3 movies actually, except for one person who didn't watch the third one because they bitched out. They were.
I was tired.
Okay, I was gonna have them relate. Scrivy was gonna be anonymous, but he decided to call himself out. Scrivy bitched out, didn't watch Spider-Man 3 because he was tired. So we watched 3 Spider-Man movies, the original 3 Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, and we're gonna talk about them now in order from 1 to 3 and how we felt about them. If we want to, we can even rate them.
Ooh,
First,
rating them.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to make this shit controversial.
Yeah, I know, right? And these ratings will be the one true standard of how to watch these movies, depending on how great they are. So I guess we'll start with Spider-Man
no debate.
1.
You actually can't debate. Our ratings are final. We are like the council of Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So if you disagree with us, sucks being wrong, I guess.
It really does suck.
Mm-hmm.
But we watched all 3 of the movies. We know what we're talking about. We're basically professionals.
Wait,
Yeah.
Deg, what if you have a different rating than me? It seems to me like you would be wrong.
No,
we'll take the average,
yeah,
the conglomerate score.
We're kind of like
Fair
a
enough.
council, yeah, or a council. We take the whole
Of
rating,
course.
and then I decide which one I like the most.
What was that?
Huh?
What'd you say, Josh?
Oh,
which one you like the most? It's not about you.
Well, it's my podcast.
We all watched the movie.
I don't know. The soda can intro happened. I think this is our podcast.
I can just cut that out. They're not gonna know what that means.
You wouldn't dare.
I
Editor
would.
put it in.
I would. I'm God.
dare.
All right. Let's talk
This
about
is- this is-
Spider-Man 1.
This is the part
Spider-Man
This
1.
is a part where you transition into like a PowerPoint transition into like Spider-Man 1 and like Arial font with like a weird background.
Playing like some YouTube anthem music.
So, my main issue with Spider-Man 1 is the fact that it was the very first, well, not the very first, but like the first Spider-Man movie, and so it had to go over Spider-Man's origin story, and the full first 30 minutes of the movie is really slow and kind of boring.
Yeah, it takes a little bit to get into actual Spider-Man, but the moment we get into Spider-Man, it gets real
Boy,
juicy.
oh boy. It is top
Mach
tier.
10.
I
Mach
kind of
10.
understand that, but as someone who was coming into these 3 with the most barely, very little knowledge about Spider-Man and his origin and stories and stuff, I actually quite liked the first 30 minutes to an hour of the movie.
That's fair. I could see
Scrimmy's
how...
our perspective from like someone who
Who's not a superhero
who has been living under a rock for the last 20 or so years and doesn't know Spider-Man's fucking origin story.
Yeah,
Listen, I don't like superheroes and I don't watch movies.
Like, not only have I
Great.
seen
Glad to
Spider-Man,
have you on this podcast where we talk about superhero movies.
like, not only
Hey,
have most of us seen like Spider-Man origin stories done separately a bunch of times, I've seen Spider-Man 1's origin story at least 100 times.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot as well. Still holds up, but
It
I'd
definitely
like to see
does
more
the bare
Spider-Man.
minimum. It covers all the bases of the Spider-Man origin story.
And this one,
I actually kind of liked this one just because I don't know if this is unique in terms of your superhero stories anymore, but I kind of liked how Peter Parker started out as kind of a douche,
did he?
and then that's that's not my problem. Those kind of scenes where he was just kind of a dick initially, like when he got his powers and was all confident.
Peter Parker wasn't a douche in that specific instance. He was just,
I think he was more just angry.
Yeah,
in an angry
he was definitely.
situation.
Peter Parker in the beginning is very socially awkward, but he's by no means like a bad guy. It was that specific instance where that guy ripped him off.
Yeah, I think
you
you
know.
would. I think you'd be
dick
the
move.
same way. Like he just you were supposed
You're
to.
definitely misunderstanding Peter Parker's character already, and that's funny.
Okay,
Listen. He got like what? He was supposed to get like a $3,000 so he can get a car and drive around Mary Jane, and he gets like, what was it, $500?
He gets like $100.
Yeah, he's ripped off.
$100 bill.
And then the guy that just ripped you off gets robbed and all his money's stolen, and you have an opportunity to
that
let
is
that
pretty
guy pay.
cathartic. I can see that.
That's not being a douche.
He's
I mean,
just
anyone
a-
would be like,
yeah.
haha.
He's just an old dude who's mad. and he
Yeah, I
And of
guess I just
course,
kind of enjoyed seeing him learn by being very thoroughly humbled as many times as he was.
how many times
it
was he
is
thoroughly humbled, Scrivy?
I mean,
it
his
is
Uncle Ben
integral
died.
to the Spider-Man story that due to something bad Peter Parker did,
Mhm.
he pays comeuppance and and learns from it, and that's integral to how Spider-Man functions as a character.
Yeah,
That's cool.
because
So, yeah, seeing that for probably not the first time, but like the first time in recent memory was interesting to me.
yeah, he learns that he has to sacrifice what Peter Parker wants so that Spider-Man can do stuff good.
Yeah, thinking for yourself is bad. Just
Uh-huh.
protect the majority.
Yes,
I
communism.
Of course, communist icon Spider-Man,
he's got the red and everything.
the color red, synonymous with communism.
What about
And
the
Spider-Man.
blue?
I really want to talk about my favorite part of Spider-Man 1 and maybe the best part of the entire trilogy, Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin.
My God,
Holy
what a
shit,
perfect
we're
cast.
already there.
What a
We're
perfect
already at
cast.
Willem Dafoe as Green Goblin.
He's so
Yeah,
good.
that
Does
was
it
pretty
get
good.
better?
It
Does it get
really
better?
doesn't.
I really, honestly wish they didn't kill him because
You can't
so
count the
good.
number of memes that spawn from that. It's too many. Just Willem Dafoe alone, it's like
It's so
there's like
good.
6+ memes from Spider-Man 1 that are just screenshots of Willem Dafoe saying funny things. It's all there.
Yeah.
He makes the movie. He completes it. He fills it out. He's perfect character. Iconic even.
Well, the first time he's introduced to the city of New York. What is it, New York?
Yes. Yes, it's new.
I don't
Takes
know.
place in New
What are you
York.
about to say? Gotham?
What? Well, what? Like
Shit.
Daily Bugle's a made up thing. Why would I assume New York is real?
It's New York canon. It's New York in real life.
Anyway, the very first scene that Spider-Man is introduced to the Goblin was kind of an interesting scene for us all.
That scene
Impressive.
gotta be up there, like top 5 scenes in cinema history.
Like, why
There's
don't you break
so
it down?
much about that scene. All right. So from the start, this is the first fight scene we have in Spider-Man cinema. This is setting the precedent for future Spider-Man fight scenes, and it's between Spider-Man and Green Goblin at a festival. I forgot what festival it was.
Some
It's in
parade.
the
The
streets of New York.
Oscorp World Peace Festival?
How
Yes,
do you
of
know
course.
that?
I don't
But
know.
anyways, it's like the Thanksgiving thing they do in New York with the big floats. All right, and I think Peter Parker is there as Peter Parker, but then Green Goblin shows up, and Green Goblin is he's looking for some vengeance. He just got voted out of the board of his own company, a company he worked very very hard to make what it is, and
You know how
the
much I
council.
sacrificed?
That's an iconic line. Just got kicked out, voted off the island, and he's real upset about it. So Green Goblin, who's kind of like the alter ego of whatever Willem Dafoe's character is actually named, nobody knows. It's just Willem Dafoe. He's showing up, and he's gonna enact some vengeance on the Oscorp board for voting him out.
How does he get that vengeance, Gage?
Well, he cruises in on his Green Goblin glider, and the members of the Oscorp board are all hanging out on a balcony, to which Green Goblin throws a bomb at them. That's kind of Green Goblin's shtick, is he throws bombs, and this bomb skeletonizes the Oscorp board. It turns them into skeletons, and it's important that we note that this bomb, mere contact with these people, turned them into skeletons.
And
And
then
completely
dusted them
dead.
like
And
Thanos
then
16
dust.
years later.
And then dust, just in case those bones were to reanimate. So those members of the board are dead. Green Goblin starts causing some havoc, and that's when Peter Parker has to change into Spider-Man to begin the first fight in Spider-Man cinema history, probably the first one you should care
Before you
about.
get into that, let's just note, like, this is going to be a recurring thing. For the rest of the series, we try to look for those bombs, those skeletonizing bombs, and we never see them again,
We
which is
see
a
them
little sad.
Maybe once
no,
at the end with
It's
Venom.
not true. It's not true. It's not true. someone does get skeletonized.
Who?
Eddie Brock. At the
Yeah.
very, very end.
Oh yeah.
And-
Okay.
It makes a big explosion, and we can debate whether or not that was a skeleton bomb because it ended
It's-
in an explosion.
It's really up in the air whether or not the skeleton bomb was demonstrating that a Green Goblin bomb is powerful enough to make people into skeletons and all of them can do that, or if Green Goblin specifically developed some bombs to turn people into skeletons. And then
Yeah,
does.
he really
It's pretty
hated those
iffy.
board members.
Because occasionally a bomb will blow up and it'll just like be a regular explosion or like mess up Spider-Man or something. But these ones in specific, he seems to only carry a few of them on him at a time, to be used in special occasions. But
Very
anyways,
special occasions.
Green Goblin and Spider-Man begin their first fight. Spider-Man drops into frame in front of the Green Goblin, and goes for an opening right hook. It would seem, to which the Green Goblin establishes his martial prowess by catching Spider-Man's fist in his hand and stating "impressive," and then kicking it. Or was it a kick or a punch? I think it was a
It
kick.
was a
Kick.
I thought it was a punch.
No, it was a kick.
Kick?
Well, kicking
Regardless.
Spider-Man approximately 40 yards backwards.
Into a bunch of shit.
Spider-Man destroying everything in his wake and eventually ending at a lamppost, which falls and kills some innocent bystander instantly on impact. Breaks his spine, fatal injury.
We never see that guy again.
The first death in
So-
Spider-Man, unless you're not counting
That's-
Uncle Ben.
That's approximately
You don't.
5 seconds of the scene already of this fight, in which Green Goblin has kicked Spider-Man with incredible force, establishes his martial dominance and his superior or equal, if not superior, strength to Spider-Man. And so Spider-Man knows he has to get a little bit creative. There's also like the side thing going on where like MJ's gonna fall or something.
No one
It's
cares.
pretty.
No one.
It's pretty
cares.
much the thing they do in every scene MJ's in. She's gonna fall off
Yeah.
something. Or
Yeah,
course.
that is
She's
so
really,
true.
she's
always
really a magnet
following,
for that time.
following.
It's really a magnet for that kind of thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a fucking
well, there-
miracle she's not deathly afraid of heights by the end of the movies.
I mean, who's
There's
to say
a-
she's not?
there's that going on, but the scene just keeps coming because Green Goblin gets back up on his glider and is going to pursue Spider-Man, and that's when we get right after the impressive scene, we have the next iconic scene in which Green Goblin is, I can only describe as double cheeked up on a Thursday afternoon, riding his glider and pursuing a fleeing Spider-Man
No, not
who is
fleeing.
moving at
This
a
yeah.
rough jogging pace. I would
He's
say.
not even worried
Not
about
even
Goblin.
jogging. He's
Yeah.
barely even like.
And
it's like
it's comical, but I know why it is. This is very clearly the advent of green screens and CGI. I mean, we hadn't quite figured this out. I mean,
What is it,
the technology was still
1999?
rough, and they definitely
2002?
just had Tobey Maguire, who plays Spider-Man. They definitely just said run in that direction, and for whatever reason, he couldn't run at Tobey Maguire's top speed, which is something like 35 miles per hour.
Maybe 40.
They
max.
had to limit him,
Even
so he
45.
could only run at a light jog.
Uh-huh.
now.
And
I
that's
just
why
wanna-
it looks like that.
I just
The
wanna
cameras couldn't keep
clarify,
up with him.
After I saw Spider-Man running, is where I sort of like started crying, laughing, and couldn't see the scene anymore because him running sort of reminded me of how like fat kids in PE run. Like they're running, but like
Uh-huh.
they're basically just walking. Sort of reminded me of that, and that's when I started just crying, laughing.
Yeah, sometime after that guy got hit by the lamppost and died, I think I fell out of my chair. So I definitely missed a portion of the scene and
I don't-
only got back up after Green Goblin was pursuing Spider-Man, which
What
did not help.
What happens? How does that scene end? I don't remember what happens to.
Scene
with-
ends by Spider-Man saving MJ falling from the
and
balcony.
he just leaves.
bringing-
Goblin.
No,
What
they
happens
fight.
to
For,
the-
they fight. They fight
It's
for
a
a little bit.
decidedly it's a Green Goblin victory.
I know, but
But
where does
no, it's
Goblin
not a green.
go?
Well, okay, Green Goblin won the war, but like,
you mean he won?
like
he won
Green
the battle.
Goblin's like his glider gets messed
No,
up,
no,
and
he achieved it. Yeah, he suffered
Yeah.
some losses, but he accomplished his goal. He killed the board members and he
Fucking
messed up Spider-Man.
skeletonized the board member.
That's
Oh,
a
that's
dub.
right. And
That
then
that truly is a dub, but it ends up escaping on his glider,
that's right.
exclaiming something like "I'll be back, Spider-Man."
Yeah. And then he saves MJ. No one cares. They swing. It's that like fake Spider-Man prop that they have swinging. Have you guys seen that video? Have you seen the clip of her
No.
swinging on like a fake prop? That is
No.
definitely a fake prop.
Haven't seen that.
And then we get to the
I just want to make it clear that this first fight scene is the benchmark for all future fight scenes in the Spider-Man films.
And none of them ever top it at any point.
I don't know. That final fight, the third one was kind of nice.
Some of them are pretty good. I don't know about never top it, but I mean,
it's a good first fight.
The only one that even comes close to me personally is the train scene, but like
Oh, if we're
I mean,
talking scenes in general. Oh wait,
I might be biased because I kind of couldn't see the fight scene in one because I was crying laughing. But
on a technical level, I'd say I like the train scene more, but like just from like a perspective as a whole, like incorporating the humor and shit, the first one was definitely the best one.
I think one of my favorite scenes is the bank scene. That kind of fight.
the bank scene from 2.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good fight. I also completely forgot about the elevator scene from 2.
Oh yeah, that's fucking awkward scene. It lasts way too long, but they know exactly what they're doing. Just sitting in that damn.
I just gotta say,
elevator.
I'm a big fan of your work.
Does he say that?
I'm pretty sure.
Because he's like, wow, nice suit. He goes, thanks. I made it myself. It rides up. Doesn't he say it like rides up against his ass too?
The
And
crotch rides the
the
crotch.
The crotch.
Yeah.
Gooch.
I mean, yeah.
The spider
I don't even
gooch,
know
yeah,
that. I don't even
course.
know about
No,
spider
don't call it
crotch.
that.
Spider gooch. Spider gooch.
Oh my goodness.
That is totally unpleasant.
But yeah, we get the scene where Peter. Oh no, that happens afterwards with the fire. The fire scene where they're fighting in the fire, and he goes sleep. And
Oh, yeah.
he
Oh
sleeps.
yep. That's another iconic Willem Dafoe Green Goblin line.
He goes, "We're not so different, you and I, Spider-Man. They'll love you now,
Poor-
but someday they'll hate you."
He really hits him with the jigsaw gas, just gas.
Yeah, poor
Gas.
Toby's sitting there conked out of his mind, wondering what the hell's going on.
Bro, my freaking.
Looks like they
head.
actually just got.
I want to play a game,
baked as
Spider-Man.
hell.
Yeah, no. What that happened was during the on set, they waited for like Peter to like get the hits that they would cut, and then Peter walks off stage. He's gonna get like a cookie and some apple juice, and they bash him in the back of the head so he gets knocked out. And then
Oh,
they
Like a
thought
2x4.
I thought Sam Raimi roofied him.
No,
Yeah,
no.
they're notorious for their method, like
Yeah,
making
they're really
their
good
actors
method
act,
actors.
like the scene with the when the guys get skeletonized. That's real.
Yeah,
They developed skeletonizing technology just for that scene,
yeah. Have you noticed
to make
that
it more
none of those,
authentic.
yeah, none of those
And
actors
the military
have ever acted
never
again?
adopted it.
No.
Not that you know of.
Yeah, I mean, what do
Ooh,
you think will
no.
happen to
It
Osama
only
bin
only works
Laden?
in very specific controlled scenarios. It can't really be weaponized efficiently because it's not like a real bomb. There was a lot of movie magic that had to happen to make that specific scene work.
Yeah,
They only got one shot at it because obviously, if you fail the first time, the actors won't return. So they had to make sure it worked right the first time, and it was honestly a miracle that everything worked out to get that scene.
uh-huh.
Yeah, I could see how that would be a very stressful situation. Happy it worked out for all of them.
I was gonna say something, but I forgot.
Explains why the movie had such a high budget. They had to accommodate for all that. Oof.
Yeah, it's speculated the budget was roughly $3 billion. Dollars.
Holy cow!
Yeah, they made up for the military paying for the glider
Like,
afterwards.
2.97 billion of it was put towards the
Sony being the
bombs.
giant conglomerate it is, just consuming the world. You know, they had the money to throw away.
Uh-huh.
Thankfully, now we have the brilliant film.
Worked out pretty well. What happens after Spider-Man goes, "No, Gavi, I'm not joining you. I'm a good guy. They'll love me forever. Fuck you, Green Man." What happens after that?
I don't know, I was kinda drunk.
Sequencing. Yeah, it's all kind of, it's a little
A
bit
blur
foggy.
after that.
Is there anything else
oh,
notable in
that's
Spider-Man
right.
1?
He had a cut on him. How?
Oh yeah, the dinner.
So
Oh yeah, the dinner.
Oh, the dinner scene. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they-
Thanksgiving. It's a Thanksgiving movie.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
exactly.
Thanksgiving movie.
Like Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Why do you always bring this
Oh
up?
my goodness.
Because it
I,
is.
like, listen, I even agree with you, and I'm just like, oh my god, please stop.
Yeah,
talking about it.
he's one of those controversial people who go, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Have you watched Die Hard once on Christmas?
Yeah, like every
Don't
year.
lie to me. Don't lie to me. Don't,
Yeah,
don't
I
it's
lie.
watched
family
it on
tradition.
Christmas with my mom.
You're
okay?
insane. You're absolutely.
What do you
Everyone gather around the
mean?
fireplace, eat some popcorn
Welcome
and
to the
some
Die Hard cast.
Christmas food, and then oh
Yeah.
boy, we're watching Die Hard for Christmas. Fucking insane.
Disgusting.
Get
Listen,
off my back.
You know what my
okay?
family watched for Christmas? The Croods 2.
It's loose.
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the Croods too?
Croods 2.
It's a
Nothing.
family
You got a
movie.
problem with the Croods too?
Yeah.
No, I love the
kidding
Croods
me?
It's
too.
just not a
I have a
Christmas
Croods too.
Are you
Scurvy,
sure?
Scurvy, why is it not a Christmas movie?
I
There's
think
no
it's a
reference
Christmas.
to Christmas.
Your family sat down on Christmas and watched it. That makes it a Christmas movie.
The Croods never discovered Christmas.
Who said so? They're the first family. They probably
first
celebrated
family.
Christmas.
I don't think the Croods were religious.
Have you
Um,
not seen the Croods meet Jesus? As
Have
in
you
Jesus
not seen?
Christ?
Have you not seen the Passion of the Croods?
I hate that. Please stop talking.
Crucify the dad.
By God, help me! The Passion of the Croods.
Nicolas Cage voices Christ.
Oh my God.
No, that's Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson.
He's
Hello.
also equally insane to Nicolas Cage.
Incredible.
Hello, it's me, Jesus Christ. Hello, the Croods.
Like it's a shitty PNG of Jesus Christ, just sliding across the
Oh
screen.
God, no! It's just Mel Gibson, photoshopped with like a big beard.
And a halo
God.
above his head.
Hello, it's me. Jesus Christ. All right. Anyway.
Jesus Gibson.
Oh yeah.
No.
Jesus Gibbs.
What are we? I think.
Wow,
what
we
are
get to the
What are we
scene
rating this?
where we're not done yet. We still have a little bit more to go because we
Okay.
have the scene of
There's
Osborn.
probably a scene of Mary Jane getting kidnapped somewhere in there.
Almost.
Oh yeah. This
Uh,
is the one.
Yeah,
the
she almost
way.
gets kidnapped, and then Peter comes and beats. I think he hired those guys to try and kidnap her. I don't think he really. He hired them as Peter Parker, and he comes in as Spider-Man to beat the shit out of them. So they don't know they're gonna get their asses beat. He just hired them to kind of like scare MJ, so he could look like famous and popular and cool in front of her. And then he just beats up these mugs that he hired to make him look cool. Does that make sense?
Pretty devious.
Well, he's Peter Parker. He's a bad guy.
He's a bad man.
Yeah, spider bites will do that to you. But anyway, he kisses her upside down, and she's like, haha, this is the greatest day of my life. I'll remember this kiss forever.
He's also dating Harry at this time.
Is she
Oh,
dating
yeah.
Harry?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
she's
she's
totally
dating
dating Green
Harry.
Goblin's kid.
I didn't. Oh, yeah, she is. That's messed up. She's the worst.
Would you turn down a smooch from Spider-Man though? Even
No,
if
no,
you were in a
no, like,
committed relationship?
No,
No, not even close.
no.
To be fair, like she totally does it to him. He just sits there and she like pulls his mask down and everything.
It's not like he tried to stop her, though.
Yeah, but like he didn't. All he did was
well.
consent. She did the
Okay. Next scene.
Yeah, let's continue.
I don't remember.
We get to the scene where Harry Osborn is sad and he's sitting looking at a chair with his mask, and he's like, "I'm so sad. I can't kill this Peter boy. He's like my son." And then evil goblin inside his brain looks at him in the mirror and goes, "Yeah, you can." We attack his heart, and we cut to old lady McGee praying. She's praying to God, saying a neat little prayer, and then her fucking wall explodes.
Ah, of course, yes. This
That's what
is how
happens
you
when you
attack the
pray.
heart of Peter Parker.
And he goes,
Where
"Hey."
his grandma's
Foreclose
house
their
is
house.
at. Great aunt. Yeah, it's his grandma. It's his aunt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's his
Kill an innocent old woman. That'll get him.
He doesn't even kill her. He makes.
Did
he
we
sends
did
a
we
point.
establish that the the Green Goblin found out who Peter Parker was.
Oh yeah,
He
and
just
Oh
had-
yeah,
a very
that was in the
a very
Thanksgiving
good
scene.
scene, and he's
It
all
was
sad.
the Green Goblin didn't attack Aunt May unprovoked. It wasn't. It
No.
wasn't just Green Goblin out on the town killing old women.
Who
again.
do I attack? This old lady seems like a good option.
Yeah, it
No,
was. It was
In this
targeted.
low-income neighborhood, Norman Osborn hates the poor.
Would he?
Yeah.
He's a rich guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
he's a billionaire. Oscorp. Yeah.
I mean,
Probably
look
is
at he had plenty of money to help Peter out, but he doesn't. He's known Peter his whole life.
It's an
You've-
important plot point to note that in fact, I know we talked about it, but just Harry is in fact the Green Goblin's son.
Yes.
Just keep
Who
that in
the Green
mind.
Goblin hates.
Yeah, we confirmed that the Green Goblin is actually a terrible father.
Real bad dad.
Mhm.
You would not like having the Green Goblin as your dad.
I don't
He would
know.
not come to a
He'd be
single
William
soccer game.
Dafoe.
That
I mean,
True.
I
mean,
mean,
there,
true.
that's
He-
the give and take. I think here. I think that's the fine balance.
Yeah,
Is you have a
that's
bad
the
dad,
ironic part-
it's Willem Dafoe.
yeah, I think the most ironic part is that the Green Goblin still gave Henry more attention than his actual father did.
Is Willem Dafoe a father? Is there people out there whose actual dad is Willem Dafoe?
let's
Please
find
comment below.
Jamie,
if
can we
you're- if
look that
there
up?
are Willem
out.
Dafoes.
I'm looking it up.
Jamie, he has a kid? No fucking
Does he have
way.
a
Look
kid?
that up.
Willem Dafoe's a father.
He does. Jack Defoe.
Jack Defoe.
Come, bro, you missed your chance. Could have named him Henry.
All right, so Jack Defoe is the actual real son of Willem Dafoe. He would know definitively if Willem Dafoe was a good father or not.
Just found this article. Who is Spider-Man actor Willem Dafoe's son, Jack Defoe? Imagine Willem Dafoe being who is Spider-Man actor Willem Dafoe with the whole
That's basically a
Discover-
holy title.
I know, but like, imagine Willem Dafoe has like this huge amount of roles he's done, but no, he's known as Spider-Man actor. You could just say like, who's actor Spider-Man? Willem Dafoe's son.
Oh yeah, it's that one actor from Spider-Man, William Dafoe.
Did you just say William Dafoe?
William?
He's also been
no.
calling Harry Henry this entire time, but I didn't want to
has
talk
he?
about it. Yeah.
I'm really bad with names.
Did you've been saying William
I'm not sure
Dafoe?
Scrib actually watched the films.
No, I watched the films.
He saw like a bird outside. That's what he was reacting to the entire time we're watching this movie.
Oh yeah, dude, that bird's name is William Dafoe. What do you mean?
I hate you. It's Willem.
Willem. Okay.
Dafoe. Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe. That's an interesting name. I like that.
Not Willem DeFriend.
Willem Dafoe will beat
Not
you
William DeFamily.
Nothing's more important than family, Spider-Man.
Listen here, Spider-Man. I love my
Not
family.
always about the money, Spider-Man.
It's
It's
about
about the Mets,
family.
baby.
Spider-Man is canonically a Mets fan.
Yeah, he is.
As it should be.
Of course, he's a Mets fan.
He's from New York.
No one in New York actually likes the Yankees except people from the Bronx.
Well, we get to the final scene. He kidnaps MJ. He saves the city. I mean, well, he doesn't really save the city. He saves a couple people.
He saves the Girl Scouts.
I think it's just kids on a very late field trip for some reason. Unless it's like after daylight savings time. Well, it's after Thanksgiving, so it would be later in the night. It would only be like it's probably like only like 5 or 6 o'clock. But it's night. He saves both of them, and Goblin's like, "Holy shit! How'd he do that? I didn't think he'd save both of them."
And then he gets stabbed the night your father died.
No, it is important to note that Green Goblin does in fact stab himself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Peter doesn't. Do
Yeah, that
anything.
was terrible plan on his part. I don't know. I think.
Peter just jumps backwards and does a cool backflip, and Goblin should have known that this.
And Green
motherfucker-
Goblin
such an
fucking
unnecessary-
dies.
Such an unnecessary
That's-
backflip.
No, it's necessary. But it's on Goblin though. He should have known that this.
Obviously, you don't understand the kinetics of the spider flip.
Yeah.
I don't. You can
Implying
explain
that
to
it is not necessary is ridiculous.
I
Considering
wanna-
that is one of the most powerful abilities in Spider-Man's repertoire is the spider flip.
The ability to do a flip.
In which case, the nearest person to Spider-Man will get stabbed.
And then it
Uh,
goes,
it's-
and then it plays that cool sound that wow, and he jumps over
It's
it.
it's well documented.
And
This isn't new to us.
Hold on, we completely forgot to mention the second best part of this movie, J. Jonah Jameson as what is J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson in the Daily Bugle.
Pretty incredible. I will agree.
Perfect
He's
casting.
Yeah, I mean, this
Like a
honestly,
really
I feel
good
like it's
guy.
probably one of the most iconic roles in cinema.
I mean,
perfect.
Yeah, he's perfect.
Plays the role
cast.
perfectly.
Uh-huh.
It's incredible.
What do you mean you don't have pictures of Spider-Man? I want butt cheeks. I want feet. I want arms.
She want
Hand
feet?
in the cookie jar.
No. I said I want picture of him a foot away. That's what I said.
I don't think that's what you said.
A couple feet away. I said a couple feet away.
He really has to insist.
Oh boy. But
Yeah,
then
he's pretty good.
But then the ending of the movie is Spider-Man friend zoning MJ, which is the most cathartic moment in the series by far.
It really is, yeah.
Does he?
A well-earned friend
Yes.
zoning, really.
He friend zones
Yes.
her. Oh yeah,
Yep.
that's right. I
Come on,
can't be friends with you, MJ.
Let's go Spider Buff. Let's get with it.
I do want to just bring up real
Spider
quick.
Chad.
I want to go back to Gobby's death. What was he planning? He knows that Spider-Man has a pretty good acrobatic skill.
He really went for the most telegraphed attack he
Like,
really could have.
what's
And
going to
that's the entire
happen?
part is that, like,
He
was
lifted
trying
the
to
glider up behind him, clearly in view of Spider-Man.
And then what?
Or not in view. It was to his back, but Spider-Man has the Spidey sense.
And he
So
knew that Spider-Man wasn't gonna kill him. Spider-Man's not gonna kill him, especially if he finds out he's Norman Osborn. He's gonna
That's a 1 IQ play. That's pretty bad.
And what's gonna happen? Norman Osborn is rich. Rich people get like a slap on their wrist even when look at OJ. OJ killed 2 people and he was let free. Norman was gonna be fine. He's
all he did was vaporize some like high-ranking officials.
Exactly. That's the worst thing he did.
He's basically the good guy in this story.
I know. He's fine. Literally,
Like they painted a whole picture of him.
Uh-huh.
That's how cool he was.
And
in his magnificence.
And so him trying to stab Peter Parker as a last measure is crazy.
It blows my mind how
Not to
perfectly
mention
light-
putting yourself in the line of fire like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a calculated risk.
No,
And
it
he's a
wasn't.
businessman. He should know a thing or two about calculated risk.
He's like, you know what? This is gonna get him for sure.
Additionally, it's not like Spider-Man jumped out of the way at the last second either. The moment that glider started moving, he did his backflip. I
Spider-Man
feel-
probably heard the big ass engine and that fat unwieldy
Yeah.
glider revving into
Like,
top,
this is-
top
this
This is
RPM.
2002. We're not near like the electric car and engines not making any sound.
That thing's like basically a diesel engine. That thing's that thing's running on like coal.
Yeah,
all I'm trying to say is I feel like Goblin had the technology to make the glider stop before it got to him.
yeah. I don't know why he was. I don't know what he was thinking.
That
He-
man
Can we get
was
the
just like,
science of the Green Goblin glider? Can we get the mechanics of it?
there's probably a video somewhere.
Probably.
Because I'm
No,
afraid that is
sorry.
possibly the dumbest design for a flying vehicle.
No,
Ever.
it's so
Yeah,
freaking
like,
cool. You're such a
anytime you wanna go
liar.
You
fast
just
and
stand
slow
on it.
Imagine-
You just stand on it.
Imagine coping that bad. You're like, no, it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. I hate
Do
you. I
you
hate
think?
you. I hate
Do
you.
you think Green Goblin? Like, what if he hits a bird while he's flying?
He wouldn't. He has.
Like,
those
what if he gets
knives.
slightly off balance? Is there like magnets in his feet?
This is
He's
a
got
glider.
straps like skis.
Yeah, this
Oh,
glider.
of course.
This glider literally can launch bombs into his hands. I think he has a countermeasure for birds.
I don't think he does. I think it's a horrible design.
Maybe
for
he
a-
just
for a vehicle. Period.
he
Really,
either
it's-
dodged them
honestly,
or he
I
swats
think-
them away.
Okay, I think he would have a countermeasure, okay? This is right after 9/11. This is 2002. He would have come up with the technology.
Do you
at this
think the
point.
Goblin would help 9/11? Do you
I
think he would
think-
help them? Like he would help.
I
the
think
people
he
of
was
New York?
definitely involved.
Do you think he was involved in 9/11? I mean, this is fresh off 9/11.
I mean, he is funding the military, or the military's funding him. You'd think he'd want
They
to
have to
start
be
a
pretty
war.
careful with acts of terrorism depicted in movies. After that, I mean,
Yeah, especially after like.
considering Green Goblin is basically just a terrorist, I mean that's basically his entire character.
Yeah, they got pretty ballsy. That's probably why it's skeletons instead of like an actual explosion, because they wanted to kind of veer away from
But then,
public
he
people
causes a bunch
and
of actual
explosions.
explosions, though.
Like, and then he like causes a lot of property damage to buildings. They were pretty
Yeah.
cutting it pretty close.
Does he start that fire that Peter Parker, I mean Spider-Man, gets where he finds
I
him?
would
Wait,
say
Peter
it's pretty
Parker's
likely.
Spider-Man?
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
We covered this at the Thanksgiving scene.
Yeah, that's how we
Oh,
found out.
right. My bad.
Idiot. Fucking pay attention.
I could see how you wouldn't get that message from like the movie itself.
Yeah, it doesn't make it.
It's
The
fine.
movie doesn't
We're happy
make
to
it
explain
super
to you.
obvious in the
It's
first
really
one.
show don't tell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you don't really understand it because it's really just it seems like a split tale between some guy named Peter Parker and the hero Spider-Man.
Yeah,
It seems to be like a little bit like like guided. It doesn't really know where it's going. But once you kind of find out the secret Easter egg that Peter Parker is actually Spider-Man, it
Yeah.
becomes a much more interesting movie.
yeah, it's kind
It
of
also
I
becomes
sorry, go ahead.
becomes pretty weird when you realize Spider-Man doesn't have like a voice. He just talks as Peter Parker, and he talks to like everybody as Spider-Man that he knows. At least
It's weird.
MJ, and it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, I'll be honest. For the first like 3/4 of the movie, I thought it was really fucked up that MJ was cheating on Peter Parker with Spider-Man.
Yeah, that was. Oh, they were never together at the first.
They were
place.
never together.
in
Yeah.
the
Right,
first
you're right.
movie.
So she was cheating on Henry with Spider-Man while Peter Parker liked MJ.
Henry.
It's Harry.
Henry.
I'm
Harry.
gonna keep calling him Henry. I don't give a fuck.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Die. Die. Die.
I'm just gonna
I'll give
keep being
this
wrong on
movie an
purpose
8 out
because
of
it entertains me.
10.
Yeah. Okay. We've been talking about the first one for 40 minutes now.
Oh my god.
Wraps up. Harry's papa dies, and then Harry hates Spider-Man. And then they're at the funeral, and Peter's like, "Hey, man, sorry that your dad's dead. I kind of know how you feel." And then Harry's like, "Fuck you, Spider-Man killed my papa."
That's a big plot point.
He says the
that,
exact words, "My father was stolen from me," as if Peter Parker's father figure wasn't also stolen from him.
J. Jonah Jameson did declare that Spider-Man is in fact a thief, and I would say J. Jonah Jameson is one of the most credible sources in the Spider-Man universe.
Easily the most credible.
he stands up for his photographers. The Goblin comes in, breaks down another wall for some reason. 2 walls that he's just broken down.
And does not like doors.
He captures he takes J. Jonah Jameson, and he picks up him and goes, "Where's the photographer for Peter?" And he's like, "No, man, I don't know." He sends him by mail, and Peter's right there.
Peter is right there in front of him.
He's the real hero. That's Peter's
Green
Yeah,
Goblin.
Jonah
Green Goblin
is
should
the
have been
hero.
like, "Hey, Peter, who's the guy, Spider guy?"
He doesn't know he's Peter yet.
He doesn't know anything about Peter.
No.
In fact,
Peter is standing there, like
Yeah.
when Green Goblin busts through.
I know, and he
Green-
doesn't. Green Goblin,
Green Goblin
doesn't
would be
know.
like, "Oh, Peter Parker. Weird that he's here."
At the Daily Bugle with an envelope in his hand,
"What's in your envelope, Peter?" Can you imagine?
and it's
Green
labeled Spider-Man Pictures Smile.
It was already disclosed that Peter was a photographer. Didn't he tell Osborn that at the beginning of the movie when Osborn
He-
compared?
he wasn't
Harry
he wasn't a photographer yet. He was still in high
But he
school.
had an
really-
interest in it.
Yeah, he wanted to be a photographer.
There's no way that Green Goblin could have put it together though. There's not enough clues.
Yeah, not without that Thanksgiving scene that made it blatantly obvious.
Yeah. Anyway, Spider-Man saves the day. He kills. Well, Goblin kills himself. Suicide by
The night your
spider.
father died.
The night your father died, I found a blade. The blade killed the blade from your father's glider was the thing that killed him because Harry, Spider-Man doesn't use knives. Why would you?
Spider-Man doesn't use knives. That is actually another.
Harry,
What if he did use knives?
That is a reference to the fact that Spider-Man does not use
Harry,
knives.
your father doesn't use knives. Spider-Man doesn't use knives, and your father was killed by a knife. What were you thinking?
Killed by 2 knives.
What were you thinking, you fucking
They're
moron?
that big. Are they really knives?
Why are you giving yourself
Also, should be noted
steroids?
that Bruce Campbell is in the movie.
All three.
Bruce
He's in all
Ca-
three.
Yeah, I know, but just saying, Bruce
Yeah.
Campbell's there as a minor role, which is interesting because it's Bruce Campbell. Bruce Campbell could have played
Maintains the
Spider-Man.
illusion. Man, they really teased the Lizard and Mysterio and didn't pull the trigger on either of them. I'm mad.
When they tease Mysterio.
In Spider-Man 2, when it's kind of subtle. It might just be an Easter egg, but the Bruce Campbell.
There's a difference between teasing and referencing things in universe.
Uh-huh.
Maintains the illusion. I don't know. It'd be pretty cool to have Bruce Campbell as Mysterio. I'd see that.
How'd they tease him as Mysterio?
At the opera when Spider-Man is late for the opera, or Peter Parker is late for the opera.
How's that?
And then Bruce Campbell's like, it maintains the illusion. It's probably just an Easter egg, but like,
I think you're looking way too into it.
You are going full retard into this.
Illusion?
That-
Mysterio uses illusions.
I mean, what other Spider-Man villain?
If
uses
there was an Olympic
illusions?
sport for jumping to conclusions, man, you'd be gold medalist right
I
now.
mean, Scrivy's contending for it for some of the shit he said. We'll get into
Okay,
that.
no,
They're both
no,
pretty
we're
mad
not gonna
about
get
it.
into that. Please stop.
We'll get into that.
Spider-Man 2 is next. We're gonna get right into it.
Right
Okay.
into
Anyway,
Scrivy's takes.
No,
but
don't.
before that, what are
okay,
your
let's-
guys' ratings for
yeah.
Spider-Man 1?
I'd give it a solid 6.
I give it a 9 out of 10.
a 9 out of 10. That's high. I'd
I
say
really
like
like
a 7.
I'll give it a 7.
Conglomeratorly between all of us, that's a 7.5, 6.8, I think.
Something
No.
like that.
Scrivy's 9.
6.9.
Yeah, Scrivy's 9 gets it up to a 6.9.
Official Spider-Man 6.9.
All right.
Boo, 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 boo.
Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man
Many
2.
consider to be the greatest superhero movie.
Wrong.
I think that's a stretch.
Definitely wrong.
It's good. It's a good Spider-Man movie.
I would say the plot of it is a little flaky, but it's interesting. You have I would say a more interesting villain, but a less interesting actor playing the villain.
Mhm.
I like Doc Ock more than Green Goblin, but I don't like the actor that played Doc Ock as much as I
Yeah.
like Willem
I
Dafoe.
really liked him.
Alfred Molina is a gift from God, but
He's
yeah.
he's really good though. I mean, the villain actor castings have been excellent. The origin story, we can skip it. We don't have to do Peter Parker's origin story, so you get a little bit of origin story about Doc Ock and the way he is, why he is.
Mhm.
I think something that should be brought up is Doc Ock, Otto Octavius rather, makes a fucking son, and that's just not brought up again.
Yeah.
I feel like that is, even though it failed, that is scientifically notable.
Yeah, I feel like by the third movie they should have like continued and perfected his work.
Easily. I mean, that's rather impressive. I mean, clearly there was some flaws with it, and mainly Otto's story doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And
Yeah.
that the reason he is the way he is because he didn't protect the little chip that was protecting his brain
Yeah.
at all. He basically just left it out in the open, saying like, "Hey, destroy me, and I'll become insane." And that's exactly what happens during his experiment.
Yeah. And then
his wifey dies.
Oh yeah, his wife gets sliced up by glass,
It's funny.
and he's upset about that.
And
Or
then
we think.
Raimi loves to kill off his bad guys.
He never really talks about her, does he? I think he just kind of lives with that.
I mean, after his wife dies and then he's like overcome by the arms, he gets really focused on rebuilding the sun, but better.
Oh yeah,
That's
that is
his
his
main
his goal. Yeah, that is.
And so he just goes around getting money, bags of gold doubloons from the bank.
He robs
I
a
wanna know
bank.
who
He does
took
rob a
that.
bank.
Yes, gold.
Also,
Gold
can he take the arms
coins.
off? Do we know if he can take
No.
the arms
No,
off?
No.
can't?
they're like
No,
I
no.
don't think
Even if
so.
they
How
have
the fuck did
short-circuited-
Doc Ock walk into a bank with the arms, with the gold?
He had a trench coat. Duh.
How did he
Yeah, yeah,
fund?
Dude,
he
it
had
was the
trench
trench
coat on.
coat.
The arms
The
Yeah.
were
arms
over
were
the trench
concealed
coat.
by the
Oh,
By his
trench
trench
coat.
coat.
Oh, okay,
Duh,
got it.
he had a trench coat and a little fedora hat, and it kept him. So it was like, and, he
And
had
his little
sunglasses,
circle, his little circle
yeah.
sunglasses.
And everyone's like,
So he literally became the incognito mode icon.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, and then they just let him into the bank.
Yeah, this guy doesn't seem
there's-
suspicious at all. I'm just a normal man doing my normal banking stuff.
And
I
then
like,
he just sits in front of the
rolled
vault door for 5 minutes.
Because every bank has a massive vault door. Well,
Sir,
Listen,
can I
all I'm
help you?
saying is-
Yeah, I'd like to open up an account.
Oh,
What's the name for the account? Robin the Bank.
what? This is a robbery. I don't even. Is that first? What's your first name, middle name, and last name in that? I have 4 more arms that are hidden. What? How do I? This is too many names.
What
And that's
is the
somehow still more
combination for-
believable than Otto Octavius.
I know, right? But yeah, he robs the bank, and then for some reason
The bank of money.
Peter Parker and his aunt are there because his aunt doesn't know how to handle money. And
What do you? Her house exploded.
Yeah, so that's
The
not-
repairs must have been pretty extensive.
I can't believe Peter is friends with a rich person who literally has enough money to fund the making of another son, but his friend can't even help his aunt, his friend's aunt, who literally that house is probably worth pennies compared to how much money Harry has. Pennies.
Yeah.
But no,
I
Aunt
mean,
May
yeah,
has to move.
Harry's super rich, super
Yeah.
loaded.
Yeah, he's got his dad's inheritance,
Does
which is,
not
I guess,
help-
one thing that
Does
came
not
from
help
the
Peter
abuse.
financially whatsoever.
No, he doesn't even have to help Peter financially.
Remember,
he just
Peter
has to
doesn't
help.
like handouts.
Oh,
I know, but like his aunt's gonna be homeless. It's just a move. That's not much of a handout. That's charity work.
That's just helping a buddy's aunt,
Yeah,
who is the only person and only relative that we know of that he has.
that is a lot.
all right. Let's skip the boring shit and get right to the business. The train scene, which I would say is the comparable fight scene to the first fight scene from Spider-Man 1.
Uh-huh.
The equivalent is the train scene.
It's good.
What happens in the train scene?
We have them. How
Well,
do they
first
get,
it starts on the clock tower,
Yeah, right.
That's
which
true.
is like
it does
the
start on the
start
clock
of the
tower.
fight, where they fight and throw clock tower hands at each other,
That's cool.
Yeah.
which is really cool. It's just like they show like their own power skills of like Spidey using webs to throw the clock hands, and then Otto using the mechanical arms to do it is pretty well
Yeah.
shot. Then they
And
end
they
up
get to
on
the train somehow. I can't remember how they get to the train.
I think Otto just
It's
works
just
his way
there.
down while he's falling.
Yeah, and so they're fighting on top of the train. He throws Peter through a bridge, and then Peter's behind him. Because remember that?
Like
So he-
he gets
yeah.
thrown through, and then he ends up behind him, and then Otto hides, and then sort of jump
No,
scares him
remember
when Peter
through
comes
through
down.
this. So the scene's really quick, where
Arm
Peter
jump
gets
scare.
thrown through the bridge. He kind of flies through the grid of the bridge, and then Otto turns around and is surprised. How does that happen? The train, if anything, they're going the same speed. How does Otto get in front of Peter? Do you remember the scene?
With his arms.
Yeah, maybe he's just fast.
He just moves faster, and then it's
they're, like, He just runs.
If they're like next to each other,
Yeah.
Otto throws Parker, and they're moving. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a
Why
physics
who
man.
cares?
Yeah,
It's like the dumbest shit. Like, what? Who cares?
it's superhero
You're making
movie.
you're making pics about a guy who can fucking shoot webs out of his wrists, but a guy who's his forearms. Yeah, never mind. Anyway, he goes and trains don't have brakes because didn't Scrivy say? Didn't Scrivy mention about trains not having brakes or something like that?
Yeah, trains don't actually have brakes.
Is that
Yeah,
what
they
you said,
can't
Scrivy?
stop.
That
Yeah,
was
people
a what do you how do you call it? That was a design decision roughly around the time the movie came out. It was stated in New York that all trains had to have their brakes removed. specifically so that this was a feasible scene
Exactly.
that could occur
You
within.
have to keep it. You have to keep it realistic.
And so,
Yeah.
Doc
So all
Ock's like-
breaks were removed from New York trains,
Yeah.
and resulted in several hundred deaths. But for the duration of filming, they just kind of had to roll with it.
Yeah. And so
I mean, it
to
probably goes
compromise
into
around
that $3 billion budget, right?
And after Spider-Man tries to stop the train because it was getting close to like the end, he tries to stop it in a couple different ways. And one snarky old man goes, "You got any other bright ideas?"
Oh,
'Cause-
fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's the
What
worst.
a dick.
I hope.
I do
Doc
want to
Ock
say,
kills
Script mentioned
him.
that the budget of the movie was $3 billion. Actually, Spider-Man 2 got a upgrade, and it's actually $9 billion for
Ooh.
Spider-Man 2. That's why the
Yeah,
CGI
that
looked
explains
so
it.
much better.
It does
Exactly,
look so much
exactly.
better.
Yeah, that explains why they allowed Tobey Maguire to rip a train apart with his bare hands.
Yeah, they just said, Toby, you can use 100% of your power for this scene. We are actually just going to send this train in motion, and we want you to stop it.
He's gonna.
And he did. And
yeah,
he did.
He did.
And he
should-
got
Fairly
his
easily,
obligatory
actually. He had to pretend how like exhausted he was after that, because he
I
wasn't.
mean, he is
actually that
he is
tired.
an actor.
Yeah,
It
he's-
checks out.
He knows how to act. Anyway, he's about to fall, and the people of New York take him, and they're like, "Careful now, he's a hero." And
He's just a kid.
he's just a little baby boy, a little baby man, a
Little
little
baby
tiny,
man.
a little tiny
It's-
baby.
It's interesting to note that that was sort of like a plot point where the people of New York would be like, just keep this little secret. In light of a recent movie that came out where the entire plot point is nobody can keep a fucking secret.
Yeah. So yeah, he saves the people of New York save him, and then they're like, if you want Spider-Man, you gotta go through me. And
That's
then he
Joey
does.
Diaz.
Yeah,
That's
and he
that's
does.
Joey Diaz saying that line,
yeah,
and it says that line, and then Doc Ock goes through the people of New York.
yeah, easily.
Relatively easily. I would say, like, didn't even really think about it.
Uh-huh.
Just kind of did.
And what happens after that? I forget. Once he gets
Harry unmasks Spider-Man and finds out it's Peter
that's
Parker.
right. He wraps him in barbed wire, and then Peter's like, sleepy, I'm sleeping, and then he takes off his mask, and he's like, and yeah, Harry has that amnesia moment.
Haha, amnesia moment.
He's like, oh my goodness.
Wouldn't be the first time. Seems to be a recurring theme for Harry's character.
It really is. He's surprised. Oh my goodness, the person I've been hating this whole time is my best friend.
Yeah,
he's a
like
bad
earlier
best
in the
friend.
movie, Peter Parker got slapped by Harry because Harry hates Peter now because I forget. But,
Did he slap him in this one?
Yeah, he slapped him at the astronaut thing. Remember when Jonah told him to go to this place to take
That's
pictures
my
of
that's my
MJ
favorite
and the
Spider-Man
astronaut guy?
subplot. Harry hates Spider-Man
Yeah.
and Peter.
Oh, that's right. He's mad at Peter because Peter takes pictures of him, and Peter won't tell him anything about Spider-Man. Peter's a dick. I mean, not Peter. Harry. Here's a dick.
Harry here's a little butthole.
Harry's definitely a bad friend.
Yeah, he's a bad friend.
Best friend Harry. Don't-
Speaking of bad friends, MJ exists in this movie.
Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately,
She's the worst part of this movie.
she's
Easily.
currently working as a waitress because her acting
No,
career
that's the
is
first
falling
one.
into.
The first
No.
one, she was a waitress.
Oh, what's
The
is she acting in the second movie?
Yes.
I forget.
I think she's. Oh yeah, that's right. She's trying to act. I think.
Yeah,
See,
she's,
that's the
like,
thing.
taking
It doesn't
rehearsals and
matter.
stuff.
It doesn't matter what she's doing, but the movie kind of insists that she's very important, even though she's not. She doesn't matter.
It's very insistent.
You know what would make her more important to the story?
What?
Being
I
an
think-
interesting or good character.
No,
If
I
she-
think it would be
yeah.
as if she sold her body for sex on
Uh-huh.
the streets.
That
of New York
Said it,
City.
man.
That
I
would
can't
add
believe- I can't believe Joe would say something like
that would add leagues to MJ's character. If
So
after expending all of the jobs in New York, being waitress,
Movie actress.
she became a prostitute.
Actress? Yeah,
she became a
so-
prostitute.
Yeah.
she
she's-
exhausted all of her
I mean,
options.
clearly she's a desperate person who needs
That's
money.
everything. She wrapped it up. That's it. That's all
Yeah,
there.
she's a waitress. It shows that she's desperate for money and
I think
needs a
y'all are
job.
really sleeping on the inner complexities of MJ's character.
What inner complexities of what
Believe me,
character?
Scrib asked his entire family, and they did in fact confirm that after being a waitress, the only next step for women, the women of America, is to become a prostitute. So all you ladies out there,
I did not say America.
uh,
No one said America.
Oh, what, of New York?
Scribby thinks that you should become a prostitute if your life prospects aren't
Yeah.
looking too
If
hot.
you,
Oh
if
my
you're a
God.
waitress and you just need more
Failed
money,
actress.
yeah, if you're a failed actress, a waitress, clearly the next step is prostitution.
Clearly nothing wrong with that.
This
But if you
podcast-
were to do it,
this
it's the
podcast-
proper
How
way to go
respond to
for
this. This is a coordinated assault.
Here's the joke, Scooby. This isn't a real podcast. This is a coordinated assault against you. There is no podcast.
There's
Yeah, we're
never
actually
been a
just
podcast.
mad at you.
We're just trying to
How
teach you a
dare
valuable
you
lesson.
say that about Mary Jane Watson?
Yeah.
Listen, she was a fucking very bad character.
And what? It would make her better if she was a prostitute?
That's
It's more
clearly his
interesting.
point, Josh.
I
didn't say it'd
don't.
make her better or worse. I just said it'd make her more interesting.
So Dr. Octopus is creating a second sun, right?
It looks
He's
so fucking
creating
cool.
it?
It's so crazy how the SFX in that movie hold up to like today's standards.
Yeah, it looks like real life.
Every word that comes out of your mouth is so condescending.
How do you know what the actual sun looks like, Josh?
I have
Because
eyes.
I can look at it during the
Duh.
day, forehead.
Duh.
Go stare at the sun and see where that gets you.
It's currently 10:24. Script. Oh crap! I dated this podcast.
Oh yes, it is
You
October.
dated the
24th,
time.
you're
You
right.
didn't say like
Well,
you didn't date
I-
anything. You dated a time.
What do you mean? 10:24 every single time it says 10:24 from now until the end of time.
You didn't say AM or PM, so people won't know. It doesn't matter.
AM.
It's not AM. Fuck.
So Dr. Octopus is making a second sun, right?
What is
And he-
this for? Oh, for unlimited energy. That's why.
A renewable energy source that'll definitely work this time.
Good idea,
And-
honestly.
And this time he captured MJ because I forget why.
Yeah. So he captures MJ for Peter. Why does he?
Oh, to attack his heart.
So he? Why
It's
does
the
he?
diners.
Why did he capture? Oh yeah, the diner scene. That's right.
Oh yeah, another big plot point of this movie is that
He just
Peter
doesn't have his
has
powers.
he has erectile dysfunction. basically,
Yeah,
for the entire
honestly,
movie.
it's a big part of the story that doesn't. I feel like doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. It
It
shows
does
that-
matter, but the only reason it happens is because MJ is cucking Peter, and it's like,
Yeah, she's literally throwing him around like I love you, I don't love you. I'm mad at you for not showing up for these things. You didn't even come to my play. My friend the astronaut seen it 5 billion times. My family have seen it. Harry's seen it, but you haven't because you're so busy taking
Yeah.
photos
Meanwhile,
of
she's on like her
Spider-Man.
third guy or something. Like what was there was Harry, and then wasn't there some other dude as well?
the astronaut guy.
Yeah, the astronaut.
Who remembers the astronaut?
I don't know, man. He looked pretty attractive.
It's the
God.
third guy.
I feel like I
Just
made a
the way-
mistake here.
It's just the way you said it, like your inflection.
All right. Anyway.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
to myself.
Yeah, she goes, "Hey Peter, I love you. Come to my freaking play." And he's like, "I didn't make it because that guy didn't let me in. Let me hide in the shadows and watch you from afar." And she sees her kissing the astronaut. Like,
Ooh, bad move.
yeah, I hate her. I wonder how did she meet the astronaut? How did that happen?
I'm not sure. Don't
Yeah.
ask me, bro. I'm
Probably-
dumb.
He was probably just
Yeah,
paying for
yeah.
a service.
Gosh.
I'm
If
kidding.
Script didn't
Ooh,
deserve
mama.
it, it wouldn't be so funny.
I'm kidding, Scooby. We'll let it
What
go.
did I do?
I mean, you don't act like you don't know what you said.
So I had
Why
a
are
bad
people
take.
being mean to me?
So So
I only said this woman's.
Okay. Let's get off the bully Scooby train. Let's get off.
Spider-Man stopped this bully script train.
Spider-Man wouldn't approve of it. Okay,
Yeah,
don't
that's
talk
right.
about his girlfriend like that.
And-
I feel like Spider-Man would totally approve.
It depends if he's wearing the black suit or not.
Exactly.
We're almost there. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Okay. Spider-Man stops. No, he doesn't really stop Harry. I'm not Harry. Jesus. Doc Ock. He doesn't really stop Doc Ock. It kind of just happens
Doc
where
Ock,
he changes
sort
his
of-
mind.
Yeah, he comes to his senses and controls his arms to kill himself with the sun, which can be quenched with some water.
Yeah. So kind of convenient that he built
The
it
sun
on.
can be extinguished with water, everyone.
Yeah, it's kind of convenient that he built it on a big lake. Real convenient.
Is it like? Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
It's the ocean, but like surrounded. It's kind of like the New York Lake, where it's really just an entrance into the ocean.
I think it's the river. It's the Hudson River. Or
And it
something
doesn't
like
matter.
that. It's a body of water.
It's just a lot of water. Let's rate Spider-Man 2. What does everyone want to rate it at?
3. 3 out of 10.
3. Wow.
I'm giving it like a 5 or 6.
I'm kidding. Probably a 6.
We're gonna give it a 5.
Yeah.
I
I'll
was
give it
gonna
a
say
5.
6.
So overall lower than
Like a-
Spider-Man 1.
Like, Joe, you gave it a 6?
Yeah, I gave it a 6.
I'll give it a 5.5 in total then.
Holy moly.
Yeah, it's just not. It's not the best. It's like. It's not my favorite of the 3. Now,
I'll tell you what is my favorite of the 3.
let's get to the final third movie. The
Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
What the fuck?
10 out of 10.
the movie that killed the Raimi trilogy, the Raimi series, but I think is shit on too much because it's actually pretty decent. Spider-Man 3. This one is crazy.
This one's got a lot of good memes in, I think there's one like God tier meme. I don't know. If
There's a
any
lot of
other
good
ones.
memes that came from this one. A lot of good memes came from this one.
All right, what's going on in this movie? Peter Parker's wanted to marry MJ because he makes poor life decisions.
They're finally together, and MJ finally has her career together for the most part. He's happy being Spider-Man. Everything's in a good place at the beginning. Everything changes when a black goop comes from space. A guy escapes prison, and Harry's ex-best friend decides, hey, you know what? Maybe I'll be the worst goblin. And that's what we have.
Maybe
for the
I'll
beginning of the
ride
movie.
this snowboard for a minute.
I think the snowboard is cool.
Okay, you know what? Let's get into this because it's obviously we're gonna have to.
So-
make your stupid statement of why you think the snowboard's better.
The
And I'll tell you why you're
snowboard
wrong.
gets a lot of hate for being overall a more efficient, ergonomic, sleeker design than the fat ass, stupid hunk of metal that is Green Goblin's original glider.
I would hard
Which
agree with
had-
that.
No remarkable design other than being a big steel kite.
Imagine thinking that a snowboard's better. You know what? I'm not gonna be like, hello, I'm eating my hot dog in New York. Is that guy on a floating snowboard? What the? That's not scary.
That's pretty cool. I think that's pretty interesting.
You're not trying to look
He's-
cool. You're trying to look menacing. You know what's menacing?
I think cool is menacing. The
You know
cooler
what's
you
really,
look,
you know what's real fucking
intimidating you are.
scary? A guy in a green goblin suit on like a freaking piece of metal that you don't. How's that flying? That's scary. It's like has smoke trailing behind it. That guy's insane. That guy
I
could do
think
anything.
Green
I think the most
Goblin glider defenders are huffing so much copium they just can't handle that Harry's snowboard design
It's stupid.
was
It's
a
so dumb.
strict upgrade to the
It's so
original Green
dumb.
Goblin design.
It's so dumb.
I'll add to this. by
There
saying-
is
Really cool.
Not only is it sleeker, more interesting, more developed, it also gets rid of the fatal flaw of being able to stab yourself in the fucking chest.
That's not true.
think it
That's
served
not
Harry
true.
a lot
That
better.
how does Harry die? How does Harry
And
die?
that will not be a plot point later on in the movie.
I will
There is
say, I
no
think-
chance that these characters suffer the same fate.
The thing that makes Little Goblin Jr. not as scary as Green Goblin is the fact that Harry rarely utilizes the skeletonizing bombs that Dad did.
Doesn't use them once.
Doesn't use
He
them.
used them once, didn't he? No,
Really,
it was
really,
not.
really
didn't
got to
use
be using the skeletonizing bombs.
Because I really feel like if like all this show, all this superficial nonsense doesn't matter until you start skeletonizing people.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that really should
And
be
Harry
standard.
Harry doesn't kill a single person. Not one.
Not one.
He's a bad guy. He's not good at being a villain. He's
He's a
just
bad guy, but he's also a bad good guy.
yeah, he's a bad person. He's a
He's bad all around.
yeah, he's not good. He's just a mopey wannabe. And that explains why his glider's so bad.
I think his glider's actually pretty
It's so dumb. It's the worst.
it's actually pretty awesome.
Imagine having a helmet that retracts, and then when it comes time to getting hit in the head multiple times, the helmet doesn't come out, and so he just gets amnesia. That wouldn't have happened to original Goblin because he has a helmet that doesn't come off his face when he tries to talk.
Yeah, but original Green Goblin's helmet calls him funny names and makes him upset.
You attack his heart.
That's the same thing with Harry, except that he just hears his daddy
In the mirror.
in the mirror.
Yeah, Harry is a much more interesting character than the original Green Goblin. And
Well, imagine being so wrong.
as
Imagine,
as
that's-
they developed
now you're coping
as
because
they
that's not
developed
true
the
at
Green
all.
Goblin character, as they developed a Green Goblin
No, he
character,
got-
the natural next step as the descendant of the original Green
That's not true at
Goblin
all. He
was
was such
to
a
innovate
no
and make
no,
a more efficient
no.
design that could do
He-
all the same things
bro,
as the previous
bro,
glider
bro,
while having enhanced mobility
Bro.
and also
Listen to this,
serving as
listen to this.
simultaneously
he was
a
such a
foil
shitty
and an
character.
ally to the Spider-Man.
He was such a shitty character. They gave him amnesia. They erased that character completely, bitch.
We have already established that he is repeatedly getting amnesia. That's Harry's
I
entire
know.
character.
That's
Josh, you're
It's to
going up
get
against the
amnesia.
future. You're going up against a future broke English major. You got no
Here-
shot, Josh.
Here's the thing, though. Literally, you're saying he's a better goblin. He's a better goblin for 5 minutes. Then they realize they can't continue this for a whole movie because he's bad. He's a bad character. Wipe him off for
That's not
half
true.
the movie.
That's not true. That's not the reason they got rid of him in the movie.
Why?
They were setting up the plot point so that he could come back and be an ally to Spider-Man later after being a villain. They had to develop the arc that he redeems it.
lazy
He gets
way
a
of doing
redemption arc. He gets a redemption arc
lazy
so
way
that
of
when the
doing a
ambitious
redemption arc.
crossover event with Sandman and also let's not forget Venom, who is more interesting than both of them, Sandman and Little Goblin Jr.
I'm not disagreeing, but maybe they should have went.
They had
for
to
it.
they had
sh-
to establish that yes, this character has potential to be a villain, but is going to also help Spider-Man.
They're giving lukewarm takes. They're so lukewarm, Eddie.
And ultimately, I don't give a shit about the Goblin's character. They're all relatively mediocre characters. I'm just saying the fucking glider is cooler.
It's not.
I would-
It's not.
I would
That's all this
I
argument
would
boils
use
down
the
to.
snowboard. I would use the snowboard glider over the big fat stupid glider any day. Would not even.
The glider definitely looked cooler, but I'd say the snowboard was more ergonomic. by a
Do
long
you
shot.
think Green Goblin could have fit into that skinny alley that Spider-Man leads?
It doesn't matter. He
leads
won't
him into?
follow him. He doesn't need to follow him.
No shot. No shot.
His,
Green Goblin.
his dad wouldn't go in
There's
there,
no
and he
shot.
wouldn't. He
No
wouldn't
chance.
fall for running into a little wire. He wouldn't. That's not something his dad would do.
He's fallen for stupider things before, Josh.
What did
He
fall
killed
for?
himself.
The night your father
he
died.
pranked himself.
Hey man, hey, let's calm down here.
Is that a bad day? That's just a bad day for Gobby.
Yeah, it's a bad day.
Speaking of bad
tough break.
characters, MJ is back and she's at her worst.
Yep.
She is.
God,
she
thank
is,
God for MJ.
She
in
is
this-
so
in this-
Literally, we
like
just
she's gotten so up in her head about how she's so good at being an actress, and then she won't back up. She blows off Peter's advice about like being able to push through adversity, which is frankly fantastic advice that any person
coming
should
from
take.
Spider-Man, which at this
Literally-
point does she know that Peter is Spider-Man?
yes,
She does.
that's why
Yeah.
she's so jealous of
Fucking
him.
Spider-Man.
She's jealous.
To be jealous of Spider-Man is a disgrace.
I hate
Yeah,
her so
that-
much. She's
that's
the
a bit of
worst
a-
in this movie.
It shows a bit of a lack of understanding of the things he has to do.
Spider-Man is the most humble character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sure, he gets a little in his
Well,
head, and
yeah,
like,
he's a little bit in his head. This one.
like in the they love me, and he
Yeah.
kisses Gwen Stacy, but like that was a show for like.
He's putting on a show.
Yeah, he's putting on a show
What is
for
it
the
for?
people
Was
of
it
New
was it a
York.
Spider-Man appreciation
I
parade
think
or something
so.
like that?
I think it was something. I appreciate.
Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't you
yeah.
be in a little in your head if that were to happen?
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, come on, Spider-Man.
Yeah, literally,
Spider-Man,
while we were
bro.
watching this
That
movie,
spider
we
sure
were,
can
we were
man.
miserable watching it.
Yeah, MJ is the worst part of Spider-Man 3.
And then
Absolutely
there's
worst
the
part. It's
scene
not-
where Peter and Harry are in the diner, and they have this little conversation, and Peter goes out, and then he looks at Harry, and Harry's looking at him, and the bus goes by, and he disappears, implying he's hiding under his chair, giggling.
There's absolutely no way Harry could have disappeared that quickly. He's under the chair.
He saw an opportunity.
That
he took
bus
it, and he's
flew
hiding,
by.
He's hiding under the table, just hee. Totally just
And Peter's like,
giggling.
what the hell?
Like MJ was so bad in this movie. Literally every scene she was in, like without fail, me, Dag, and Josh we were groaning audibly and
Yeah.
complaining. It was
Literally,
really bad.
It was not fun. I think we were just tired of her shit. Just her being in the movie, pulling down Peter. And then she gets kidnapped again, screaming again.
20 stories tall. Again.
It would have been better if she had
Oh
a
my
better
God, I'm
character
so high
arc.
up.
But yeah, I wish.
And after all this bad stuff happens to him, MJ is real mad, and Harry has amnesia, and Sandman is there. He gets eated by the symbiote and becomes Black Suit Spider-Man. Goes into his edgy
There's
face.
a lot to talk about with Black Suit Spider-Man.
Probably the best stuff to come from this movie.
Yeah, it was
Is
very cool.
Incredible.
Edgy
Incredible.
Peter. It's so good.
Give
maybe
me more
maybe
of that
the
edgy
best
Pete.
meme from the trilogy. Just
Easily.
like Bully Maguire, like him strolling up the street.
Oh, it's so good.
On
Dancing
the
in
street.
the-
The whole thing. It's a cinema
And
masterpiece.
all the women are visibly unattracted to him. Just
Except for like
sure.
no, there's like a mix. There are a couple people that sort of like
Hey.
Ooh,
It's the confidence. He's got real good confidence.
he's so
he's
the
so
the
confident.
jazzy scene in the jazz cafe.
Oh,
where
the
he's
domestic
flexing on
abuse
MJ.
situation.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
good. Hey,
I think we all laughed when that scene came up, which normally we probably shouldn't. That's kind of weird, but like MJ
Hey.
No,
got
it's
hers. Holy
perfect. Scene's
crap!
perfect.
you know, she
Flawless
shouldn't. This man is clearly punching people. Don't go to try and get involved to stop him when he's in a blind rage. What were you saying, Scribby?
No, sorry.
I like that Black Suit Spider-Man is most true to Tobey Maguire in real life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
He's-
only when encountering like paparazzi or
Yeah.
something.
I mean, have you seen Tobey Maguire these days? He looks so tired every time anyone sees him.
Well, yeah.
Because they have a camera
Really
pointed at
exhausted.
his
Imagine
face.
being Spider-Man.
I would.
Yeah, I
he
couldn't
says
be
he
me.
just doesn't want people
I'm
interacting with
exhausted
him and
every
taking
day,
his
and I'm not
photos.
Spider-Man.
But yeah, so he starts seeing Gwen behind everyone's back. Well, not behind Eddie's, and how does he end up going on a date with Gwen? I don't remember.
He just randomly does it as she
Feels
breaks
like
up with
it.
she breaks up with Eddie because he was
Oh yeah,
fired
he
from
cheated. He faked a photo.
of him like
Can't-
robbing a
He
bank.
made a judgment call.
You can't
He
do
did
this.
make a
You can't
judgment
do this,
call.
Peter. I'll be ruined. No one will hire me. Oh, maybe you
You
should
want
have done it.
forgiveness? Find religion. and then he
Great
almost
line, man.
and,
I'm
th-
gonna
and
put
then
some
he
sand
almost
in your
bangs
eyes.
J. Jonah Jameson's secretary on J. Jonah's desk, which was funny.
Yeah, and then J. Jonah Jameson has
That
to
made
take
me laugh.
medicine now.
It's not what I hired you for.
Not what I hired you for. And then, I guess Harry gets his memory back. Obviously, how does he get his memory back? He just starts. He just starts to remember. I think.
He saw the knife.
Oh yeah, I saw the knife. And, he's like, and then he hears his papa's voice, and his papa tells him to attack the heart. MJ breaks up with him because he's
Strategy
evil.
that worked for him before, of course.
It's worked. It's always worked.
MJ breaks up with Peter. Then Peter slaps MJ in a public place,
Yep.
and then Venom happens.
Yeah. He's like, you know what? I'm done with you, Black Suit. I'm going to go to church. And Eddie's praying for God to kill Peter Parker because Peter Parker's the problem with Eddie's life, not Eddie.
Eddie actually
He-
like prayer to God.
Nah, he found religion.
Yeah,
He
that's
did
true.
find
He did find religion.
Honestly, what do you guys think of Eddie and
I don't-
Venom as like a character? He was pretty controversial, but I don't
I
think
like
he
him.
was as bad as I remember.
I think he's
don't-
all right.
I don't think he needs to be in it. I think he was forced into it. Like I
I mean, he definitely was forced into the
I
movie
think-
by some
I-
schmuck.
yeah, some executives were like, we need Venom in this movie, and so he was forced into it. I don't think he needed to be in it.
But
Um,
I don't think his inclusion kills the movie.
I don't like
it's
him.
fine.
I don't like Eddie. I don't like the actor who's playing Eddie, especially when he's in the suit and he has to take off his freaking.
He's
has
not.
to
He's
show
not
his
very
dumb face.
menacing.
No, he's just like
Nah.
he's just like a normal dude with crooked teeth at this point now because the black suit gave him crooked teeth,
what it
crooked
does,
sharp
man.
teeth, and anytime I don't like the it just. He looks like one of those like really bad newer aliens from the new Alien movies. That's what like the Venom when it screeches looks like. I don't like
That's
it.
kind of just Venom's design is pretty true to just Venom's design in general, though.
I know, but I think I like the way they do the new. I've seen how they do the newer Venoms, and it's kind
Eddie.
of spoiled.
Eddie.
me.
There's
Yeah.
a symbiote at the gay bar.
Eddie, we need to kill everyone, Eddie.
Eddie, look at that twink, Eddie.
Go get
Free Pickens.
Venom. Calm down, please.
You know I have a thing for femboys, Eddie.
Those thigh, Eddie, those
That's
thigh
canon.
highs. Eddie,
You guys
those
don't
thigh
remember, but
highs.
that's in the Venom movie.
Yeah, don't you remember the Venom butt plug in Eddie's ass?
Eddie,
It's
those
just part of
just
being
like a-
Venom, Eddie.
Eddie, you know how those thigh highs make me go crazy.
Eddie, we could start streaming, Eddie. We could get the hot tub stream and make millions. Be so rich, Eddie.
Anyway, so we get to the climax of this movie. It's all three of them. It's Spider-Man. It's MJ there. We have Venom, and then we have the
MJ falling
Sandman.
from high places.
Say-
Yeah,
Oh,
MJ
can-
constantly
can-
almost falling out of this damn taxi.
Can we explain that Sandman is a retcon of the first movie in the whole Ben Parker situation?
Oh yeah, and then Ben Parker shoots himself.
Yeah. The night your uncle died.
The night your uncle died, I didn't mean to kill him. Someone just tapped my shoulder and I
And
looked
spooked
down.
me. I got
Yeah,
spooked and
I
pulled
looked
the
down
trigger.
and Ben had the gun in his hand and he pulled the trigger.
Your father shot, or your uncle shot himself, Peter.
I swear I didn't do it.
It was not me, dude.
I
He
forgive you.
he wanted to teach you a lesson for talking bad about him. I think he was trying to aim for like an arm or a leg, but he hit himself in the gut.
That's-
But, yeah, they retconned the story, and then Peter Parker's angry the wrong man was killed.
Yeah,
he
I
tries
think
to
Sandman
kill
was
Sandman.
probably the most forgettable part of the story for me. I didn't really click with it at all.
He just wants to give his daughter his meds because the American health system is completely fucked.
Yeah.
He had a good point, but like it just didn't feel in tune with the rest of the movie.
Hey, but we had to
That's
hit that
fair.
quota. We had to hit that bad guy quota.
Yeah, I gotta get our money.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, it felt like they had a working movie and then they just kind of put Sandman in there.
It's not true. It's based off a comic.
Yeah, of course. But I never
Pretty
read the comics,
faithfully.
So
Well, stop talking about shit you know nothing about. Them.
I think it was okay. I think Sandman's okay. It really does feel like he didn't need to be in the movie.
He definitely is.
I know he's in there.
And he's like 10 stories
If
tall.
if
looks like a
if, if
chode.
Sandman like picked you up,
Yeah, if he was like in his big guy mode and he like picked you up and I don't know like ate
he
you
like was like, would you be cool with that?
yeah, would you be like, okay, this is happening? It's just kind of crazy, or
I mean,
would you be
wouldn't it
like,
just be like being at the beach?
have you been swallowed by the beach before?
You haven't?
Have you been just chilling on the beach?
whoa, back up. What?
I mean, I
Like,
almost
like,
drowned in a
have
riptide
someone
once,
bury you. Like it'd be just like that.
Have
like
you?
up to your neck or something.
Yeah.
Have you, Scrivy?
Yeah.
Who's burying you at the beach?
My friend. We were just playing at the beach and everyone was good.
So Harry's butler, after 3 movies of saying nothing about Harry's dad's death,
Multiple years.
finally comes to Harry after he is about to go kill Peter,
Wait,
and
he
he's
gets
like,
a freaking Pop-Tart face from Peter.
and he goes,
I kind
"The
of
night
forgot
you-
about Pop Tart face.
Yeah, exactly.
the night your father died, he killed himself because of this one idea. Like it was the stupidest fucking thing."
Bill Clinton?
Bill Clinton is Harry's butler?
The night your
You could probably
father
afford to have
died.
Bill Clinton as his butler, honestly.
You can't
Sony's
afford
got the
Clinton.
cash.
Oh yeah, he probably could. That's right. He's rich. Anyway, he holds back this damn knowledge that his father was killed by his own blade, which still doesn't.
Only after Harry has gone out and tried to kill Peter a couple times.
and it's
Like
and it's
twice.
It's physically harmed Harry. He's beyond harmed. And
That's when
He
he's like,
gets am-
oh, by the way,
Like he gets amnesia and his face gets blown off.
just
Yeah.
overall, it's a bad time for him.
And the thing is, him saying the thing that killed your father was his own glider, that doesn't prove anything. Spider-Man could have just stabbed him with his glider.
That doesn't exonerate
No.
Spider-Man in any way.
It doesn't. It just means he was killed by his own blade.
Harry's probably like, what the fuck do you mean? What?
Were you there?
How does he know?
Yeah, how does he know this?
He's like, he must be like a forensic scientist in his past. And
Yeah.
he's able to see how
He's
people
looking at it like
died.
this ain't no spider wound.
But anyway, it's a change
I
of heart
declare
for
this
Peter.
not a spider bite.
A spider bite. Peter was biting him.
So anyways, Harry is somehow convinced of this through this conversation and decides
Yeah,
to
it
go help
works.
Peter,
He's sold.
He just
who is
wanted to
currently
find a
getting
reason.
completely raw dogged by Venom and Sandman.
Oh yeah, he's getting fucked up.
It was kind of hot. Like,
What?
There were
Yeah,
It
Venom was choking him and everything.
and then getting pounded by if Sandman was like
Getting
making,
pounded by Sandman.
He was literally, yeah, he was getting pounded.
If Sandman
Imagine
turned
having
his hand
Sandman.
into a big hammer and smashed you with it, would you let him?
Yeah.
you be like,
Spider-Man
okay
would let
with that? Multiple
I
times.
don't think Spider-Man had a choice in the matter.
Anyway, Harry shows up. He starts fighting the big sand, and then Peter fights Venom.
And then MJ gets saved, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're fighting. in
Imagine
this
just the
big
third movie and
complex.
Spider-Man's just like, yeah, no, I'm tired of this, and just MJ falls to her fucking death.
Yeah, what if they didn't save her and they killed her?
Yeah, it's
off?
called The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
2. That's why that
Oh, yeah.
movie. Oh man, that's a good movie.
No,
Or,
it's
It's not a
not.
good movie. I liked
It's
it.
not a good movie.
It's not a
What
good.
if we set up this scene, but Spider-Man doesn't catch her this time?
What if we set up a scene and like the guy, a fan of Spider-Man, gets electrocuted by electric eels and gets electric powers, turns blue.
bro?
Spider-Man-
That's a cool. That's Jamie Foxx, bro.
I don't.
You don't mess
care.
with
It's
bro.
dumb.
James. It's really cool.
He's a
What do you?
bad
It's
Okay.
like
Spider-Man.
okay.
Sandman level.
This is
I
a
hate him
conversation.
so
This is a
much.
no. This is a conversation for another day, Josh.
I hate.
we could
I
be at-
hate it. Harry gets introduced in the second movie, and they're best friends, and also he needs spider blood. I need your spider blood. You know, Spider-Man. I need your
Okay,
spider
God-
blood.
Goblin Jr. sucked, but I like Jamie Foxx, bro.
And then
Jamie
they had the Rhino. They had Paul. What is it? Paul Giuliani or whatever. What's his name?
I
as
don't. I don't even know it. I don't
They
know
have
his
him as the
name.
Rhino, and they're like, "Oh my goodness, we've been waiting for this the whole movie," and they cut it right before the fight, and that's the end of the movie. That movie sucks, Joe.
I liked
God,
it. I
what
don't
an
know.
awesome movie.
Man, you guys.
The Amazing
God.
Spider-Man movies aren't good.
Cope,
I'm
Joe, that
sorry.
movie's cheeks.
I'm really trying to cope.
They're
That
not
shit
good
is
movies.
cheeks.
They're not good movies. I'm sorry. I refuse to go
Speaking
back
of
and watch
movies that
them.
are not good, MJ gets saved, and
Yeah.
Harry dies by his own blade, his own glider.
the night you died by your own blade.
I have also.
I like how Harry knows that, and it suffers the same. I feel like Harry made it happen on purpose.
Yeah,
He
literally,
definitely made it happen on purpose.
literally-
Like the first guy made it happen on purpose.
it's like father
Fair.
like son.
Don't tell
But yeah,
Harry.
what
And then
happens?
Spider-Man kills Venom with literally the power of music.
Yeah. And
He
then
hit him with that. He
Slams
hit him
some
with that
poles in the
Dolby
ground.
surround sound.
he gets Eddie out, and Eddie's like, "No, don't kill my baby boy, my little baby."
And then he gets
jumps into
skeletonized.
explosion. Yeah, and turns into a
So
skeleton.
all I'm saying is, if those were the new Venom movies, Eddie would have survived somehow.
Yeah, because Venom's the fucking protagonist in those movies. You goddamn moron. What?
Eddie, I'm not the bad guy this time. I'm the good
Besides
guy.
the point.
But yeah,
that is
th-
beside-
Is it? Back up. Is it?
Yeah.
I don't fucking buy it.
The point is that Venom gets stronger over the years.
Why?
Why would they kill Venom off in the movie titled Venom?
Big
Surprise
gamer play.
factor.
No, nobody would expect it.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say Sandman got off easy. Every villain has died in this movie but Sandman. In all of these movies, every villain has died but Sandman.
I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Honestly, that moment was pretty good. I
It's
enjoyed that
good.
moment.
That whole moment just. Sorry, Spider-Man. It's alright.
Hey man, sorry man, I didn't mean to do it. Your uncle literally grabbed the gun from my hand and shot himself. He wanted it. He wanted to die.
I think he was suicidal. I do think that's
I
that's something.
literally-
It's
That's,
because you didn't help him paint the walls, Spider-Man.
are we ready to rate? Right?
Yeah, I guess.
Can we
can
rate
rate it.
Spider-Man? I feel like we talked about everything.
Yeah.
Oh, ball, back up. I do think that J. Jonah Jameson is the kind of person to go
Oh,
to
yeah.
somebody's wedding, specifically just to sell their caviar.
He steals their caviar
That
and sells
that
it.
seems in line with J. Jonah Jameson's character.
That is 100% true.
Scooby, what do you
As-
think?
Scrib, what do you have to say about this?
Just thought it was really funny and portrays how he very much so enjoys money to an alarming degree and is willing to be morally questionable in his pursuit of money, and I found that quite
You
humorous.
heard it here, everyone. J. Jonah Jameson likes money.
Mr. Krabs.
Do you fancy yourself, J. Jonah Jameson? Do you like money?
I don't think it's about the money.
Not about the money, Spider-Man.
Stop, this joke isn't funny.
What
Like, it
is
would
your
never- like, it never be
rating
a sword
for
Let's rate the Sam
Spider-Man?
movie.
Spider-Man 3,
Final rating 8.
8. I
8.
really like the movie.
I give it
I
a
like
7.
Spider-Man 3.
like the
I
movie.
give it a 7.
10 out of 10. No, I'm kidding. It's like it's a 7. I'd give it a 7.
Let's give it a
7.5 is the average.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on the series or any moments we didn't talk about?
I think it's probably the best Spider-Man series as a whole. just
I
in
mean,
general.
Holland Spider-Man
It's pretty
comes
close. It's
I-
pretty
I
close.
haven't, I
Have
haven't
either
seen
of
No
you
Way Home. I haven't
Okay.
seen No Way Home.
I've seen
Okay.
all of them but the newest one. I do
You
enjoy
haven't
the
seen-
top. I have
They're-
not seen No Way Home.
Holland Spider-Man still feels really.
The thing is
unfinished,
the
though.
Raimi films are classic, but the Holland films are so good.
Yeah,
really
they're pretty
good.
solid.
It's also notable that the original films are defined by the director, whereas the other ones are defined by who
You
played
have
them.
yeah, you have no idea who the directors
You're
are.
like,
anymore.
some Marvel director guy,
Yeah.
whatever.
I just
Tom
like,
Holland's in it.
Yeah, I like Tom Holland Spider-Man. Andrew Garfield is an okay Spider-Man. I think he was.
He's
given a-
too big.
he-
He's not. He doesn't play Peter well.
He's
he
not.
was just-
He's not a great like.
I
would
think-
He's an amazing Spider-Man.
I
but
think
he's
he
not
was
the
given
best
a
Peter
raw
Parker.
deal.
Yeah,
His
exactly.
movies in general aren't good. I think if he was given a better movies, I think he would have been okay.
Like I agree that he wasn't a perfect Peter Parker. I think Tobey Maguire is the best Peter Parker of the three, and I think like Tom Holland isn't the best at either, but he's really
I think
good
he
at
comes
both.
pretty
still.
close. He's just a tiny.
Yeah.
He's a tiny man, so I think Peter Parker's more of a tiny
He
man.
really is just kind of like Spider-Man, but for like the new generation.
Yep.
Do we want to talk about Josh's little excursion in between movies and the time we watched it?
Scribby, you missed this.
Okay, so
I kind
we
of
were
I kind of phased out. I kind of like I became a different person. And
Oh
we,
dear God.
He
we
went
went
Green Goblin mode.
we I started making comments on YouTube comments. I can probably bring a couple up. And read a couple to you. Some of the ones that actually have gotten replies, and I'll probably screenshot them.
Good.
So I'll scroll down and see which one. Okay, so we went to. Oh my God, there's so many of them. I'll go to the first comment.
Now, keep in mind, this is very early in the morning. Like, we're in different time
Like,
zones, but
I
like
think it
even
was-
then, it was like midnight for Josh and like 3
I
in
just
the
couldn't
morning
believe
for
Josh
me.
was falling into delusion. I mean, he was delirious.
So we go.
The shit he was commenting
so,
was
like- And he was completely silent while me and Deg were crying, laughing. Like my chest and
if
abs
you've never
hurt.
seen Josh type, it is a fucking marvel this man functions.
so I'll,
Types like he reads.
yeah. So the first one that got like a reply. Well, I went to the first Spider-Man. We're on Spider-Man 3. This was right before we went to watch the movie. We were watching the trailer, and I scroll down and I start reading the comments. One of the first ones that I replied to was no post-credit scene. If you were interested, I replied I wasn't. I wasn't.
This is the kind of comment he's going to be
I-
leaving for the
I
next
I like to
hour.
imagine that Josh just became Black Suit Spider-Man.
And then we went to Thor Ragnarok, and I made a bunch of comments like, "Oh yeah,
Thor 2 is better.
no." After from Spider-Man 3, I went to the Amazing Spider-Man, and I left a single comment on top saying, "I love the social network. Mark is one crazy dude." And then we went to Thor Ragnarok, and I said I went to multiple people mentioning how Thor 2 was better. And then so we'll get to this. I said honestly, Thor 2 was better. William replies, I would have to disagree. Thor Ragnarok was a masterpiece. That's not his That's not the last time we'll be hearing from William. We come back to another one where I reply again. Honestly, Thor 2 was better. William is back. Why are you spamming this everywhere? You aren't making any good points. I reply, Thor 2 was better. I reply again. Honestly, Thor was better. Get nay-nayed.
No, you replied to getting a nod,
Yeah.
or getting a nod.
I replied after that, getting a nodded. And then he replies in utter rage within 3 different comments. First one, Thor Ragnarok was way, way, way better than Thor 2. Thor 2 was lame and Ragnarok had the Hulk. Next comment, Thor asterisk. And it's Thor Ragnarok that is better. You're right. Next comment after that. That's cringe. Face. That's not the last. There's one more, and then finally we have Corey Johnson. This is still Thor Ragnarok. My absolute favorite Marvel movie ever, featuring the baddest bitches ever. Hella my love. I reply, honestly, Thor 2 was better. And then William is back again. Terrible comment.
All right.
I just want to clarify that he's been doing this across a bunch of different
And then
threads
finally-
for an hour long.
Real quickly,
Do
finally,
you guys?
we
Oh.
come back to Spider-Man 3, and I leave my top comment back again.
So, do you guys want an M. Night Shyamalan level plot twist in this whole sequence, this whole story?
I already got it, but it's gonna be brilliant.
Oh man, Josh, this is gonna mess Josh up. Josh, we've been holding out on you. We have a secret we'd like to tell you.
No way.
Hey
What?
Josh.
What?
Scribby,
Look-
what's
look at-
Scribby?
look
Scribby? Scribby, no, Scribby, shut up.
No.
Scribby,
Okay, fine.
Scribby. What's your name?
My real life name is William.
No way.
Play the fucking Black Spider-Man theme.
Holy shit.
You played for a fucking fool.
This is what you get for making fun of Scribby about the prostitution thing.
Oh man, I can't believe Josh was unaware this whole time.
William.
Check-
What a
if you
lame
just-
name.
If you would just checked the channel, my face is on the front page.
What? I just thought Williams was a loser. I was right. I was right. But yeah, I had a lot of fun going and just commenting just random shit on these movies.
We legitimately thought you had gone insane.
Dag told me like while you were in the process of typing those comments that like, oh my god, look at this crazy shit Josh is doing. And I'm like, all right, hold on, look, I'm gonna get on one of my alt accounts and I'm gonna start beef with him just for no fucking reason because he thinks I'm asleep and I'm just gonna do that. And then
Yeah. You got in an ad.
Got added. Fucking added.
Oh yeah, overall, the Spider-Man chili's great. I had a great time watching them.
Yeah.
Good time. All around a good time.
Great
Yeah.
movies.
It's fun.
I don't know how to end shit. This has been us talking about a movie, specifically 3 movies: Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3. A total rating. The first one got what, a 5.5, 6.5. Second one got a first one. First one
got like 7.5, didn't it?
Okay, so first one 7.5. Second one 5.5. Third one 7.5. This is a correct rating. All these movies are how they should be, and no one else will go against these ratings. This is it. That's the movies.